There's someone here who's in some kind of secret competition with you. Whatever your passion is, whatever you do for work or career, they're trying to basically slow you down so that they can catch up or keep up. But this is not something that you're interested in even giving attention to. You've released this completely, and you made a decision. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles and King of Pentacles, to ground and balance yourself with the Seven of Wands. In terms of the way that you're viewing this, so you're viewing it as like a healthy competition where this person's coming out the Knight of Cups and the King of Swords in reverse. So this person has a wounded inner child and they're trapped in that energy right now. They're not seeing any competition as healthy competition. They're just seeing, they're just seeing you as someone that they need to take out because they feel like there's only one spot at the top here, which is not the case. As I said, that Three of Pentacles, teamwork, collaboration. You'd probably be willing to work with this person if they could come from a better place, but they're dealing with their own devil right now. And not that you'd want to necessarily work with this person, but you at least wouldn't hold a grudge if that's not the case. Like, you would see it as, okay, I understand why you chose me to try and compete with, but let's not go against each other type of thing. Let's not go against each other. Let's both kind of protect our own space here. But this person just won't give it up. They won't let it go. They just watch you in the shadows. Hierophant and the Emperor. They want to throw off, oh, the Lovers was behind that. They want to throw off your ability to make choices in a level-headed way, because they feel like if they can throw you off that way and get you locked out in the cold, that they can kind of catch up with you, but it's not going to happen. Knight of Pentacles with the Devil reversed. They're behind where you're at because they haven't done the work that you've done to get to where you're going. So it's just, but you still are viewing it as healthy competition, whereas this person is looking at it as if you're taking all their magic away because they're too focused on you as opposed to focus on what they should be focused on, which would be their own path. Their own path. Two of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles. Temperance. Their balance is thrown off because they're too focused on you, and they're watching you complete cycle after cycle in your Emperor energy, your action-oriented energy, getting all these fresh starts because you're putting in the hard work. And they can't stand it. They're seeing your Ten of Pentacles coming in. They're seeing the fruits of your labor really paying off, and it's making this person very emotionally. King of Cups was right behind the Queen of Cups. It's making this person thrown off in terms of action and emotion. Queen of Wands, the Moon reversed. They wanted to lure you into exposing yourself in some way, and you did, and it did not go the way that they thought it was going to go. And now they're really sad about it. So they know that they don't have any other moves. The Moon and the Sun both in reverse. They've tried to shine light on stuff and they've tried to keep stuff in the dark. And either way, you are still getting what you've been working for because you earned it. And they're not seeing it as that because they're not seeing it as healthy competition. But you won, so it doesn't really matter. You recently found peace in a major storm you were going through, and someone is looking from the sidelines, unsure of what to even think about your, I don't even want to call it a comeback. I want to call it more of like stepping back into your power more than a comeback, grounding yourself and loving the pieces of you that other people tried to convince you were unlovable. People tried to stop any quick forward progress you had because they wanted to get you stuck and stagnant for long enough that you kind of forgot about your divine connection or protection, but it actually just increased. your ability to tap into it the longer they tried to delay you, because what other option did you have? They wanted to rattle your faith here, make you doubt or question yourself from the inside out, and they were unable to do that. And you had a total rug pulled out from underneath of you moment in kind of more public way. Could be social media, whatever it was, but you protected yourself and you gave yourself a fresh start. You gave yourself time to calm down or cool off, and it did not leave you trapped and stuck. And now everyone is looking from the sidelines, unsure of how you managed to pull this one off or like get out right in the nick of time here. And it's because your ancestors, your guides, your higher power was on your side the whole time and letting you know things the whole time in little pieces, letting you know what you needed to know exactly when you needed to know it, so that you would avoid or avert any major disaster while they would still be accumulating their karma for continuing to go against you, because they thought that it was working and it wasn't. High Priestess in reverse. They were wrong. They were misled because they were listening to one ringleader that was so sure that they had you all figured out. Queen of Wands, they didn't. King of Cups on the bottom. They manipulated themselves into thinking that they had you all figured out. This is like, I judged a book by its cover and I realized that I wasn't even in the right library. Like, that you came in 10 toes down knowing that you had this divine protection, this divine authority, and you took it with you on this whole journey. They needed you to be locked out and defeated, but you rose back up here. And they're watching from the sidelines, having no idea how you're not stuck in the past and how this divine protection came in for you so strongly. They don't love it because they don't have that same type of protection. The Emperor came out here. You have action-oriented protection. Your forward progress steps are divinely supported, divinely guided. And they just don't understand that. They can't make sense of how you don't have to rush like they do. They have to rush to hide stuff in the dark. They have to rush to get to people before you get to people, type of thing. And you're just kind of slow and steady wins the race here, because you know that what you give is what you get, and you know that the karma you've been creating for yourself is not bad karma. So you don't have to run, you don't have to rush. You can just do the opposite of what they're doing. They need their darkness to disappear. They need to manipulate. They need Devil in reverse on the bottom of the deck. They need to cover up those evils, and you are wearing your heart on your sleeve. You're just like, you know what? You know what? Temperance and the World. You know what? If there's anything you want to know about me, I'll tell you. Or it won't be that hard to find. Whereas with them, they need to keep everything covered. They need to keep everything hidden in a lie. They need to... This is like false start after false start. Like, people start to get close to them and they have to push them away, because the nature of who they are is very shady, very secretive, and they don't have the divine support that you have, and they are hella confused about how you were able to escape the trap they had set for you. They're just going to have to be confused, because you stayed committed to the goal here, and the goal was to follow what your soul was telling you was right, because you knew that the guidance you were receiving from your soul was pointing you in the right direction. Even if nobody else understood it, even if nobody else could see it, you could see it. You knew that you were going from 9 of Cups to 10 of Cups. You might not be there yet, but you're taking steps towards it. And you knew that if you just kept the faith here, that you would eventually get to the other side and it would all make sense. The seeds that you planted will sprout in your favor. And they just can't understand how you were able to navigate through almost like a minefield that they had set up for you. You weren't supposed to make it through to the other side of the minefield. Your inner child was supposed to be too triggered to allow you to continue, and you were supposed to miss out on the victory. But they're now recognizing full go, they can't stop you. It's far too late to stop you. You recently took on some extra responsibility and you didn't really have the space to take on any more extra responsibility, but you had to take on this particular extra responsibility. And you're kind of wondering, what is the spiritual lesson here? Well, first, it's to show yourself that you're strong enough and that you can handle this. It's kind of the accumulation of several smaller lessons from the past, or maybe they were bigger lessons, but it's several lessons merging into your higher self, giving you the platform to show yourself that you can do it and that you have the strength and that you have the right boundaries in place now, that you can make certain shifts in your life and you'll find space for this particular extra responsibility. Queen of Swords, Queen of Wands, you have found the balance of doing and being. You have found the balance of expression and knowing when to hold back. You are not in a reactive state. You're in like, I can stop and take a couple breaths and think about it state. So it's like the perfect time. Yeah, 10 of Cups. It's basically the little mini test that comes right before you get some big manifestation. And it's not because you haven't fully earned the manifestation. This is like, you already earned it. It's already yours. You just have to fully convince yourself that you are capable of keeping and maintaining it long term once that manifestation is here. And this is the way that your higher self has, look at the angel. This is the way that your higher self has chosen to allow you to see how ready you really are for this. This is fast communication. So your angels, like I said what I said. I said what I said. It's not that you would block yourself from it, but you wouldn't enjoy it fully like you are meant to. Like your higher self is like, I want you to celebrate all the way, enjoy this. I don't want you to be doubting yourself going into it because you earned it and it's already yours. High Priestess, this is part of your destiny to have whatever this manifestation is. It's part of your soul path. It's a very important part. So your higher self just wants you to see how ready you are to maintain it long term by giving you a little bit of extra responsibility when you kind of already thought that the plate was full. You're like, I don't really want any more extra responsibility right now. But your higher self is like, listen, show yourself how well you handle this, and then when you go into stepping into that manifestation, you will see that you have defeated everything that could possibly put you in a position to self-sabotage once you do have it. You're not going to self-sabotage once you do have it, and this is you showing yourself that. High Priestess, this is you showing yourself that. So if you had to take on a little bit of extra responsibility, it's not a punishment. It's quite literally like the appetizer that you get right before the entree comes out. And the entree is that big manifestation that you've been trying to work on for some time, or at least a big leap towards it. This might not be for everybody. So you had a conversation with someone, some kind of ex-friend, ex-partner, ex-coworker or something. And the last thing you said in this conversation was, you know, it was to end the conversation. You wanted to make your point and be done. And this person totally and absolutely deserved more angst than what you gave them. Like, you were nicer than you could have been. But you are aware somehow, some way, or you have suspicions that this person now kind of watches everything you do or goes out of their way to be around you or something like that. And you know it's because their ego is so intertwined with that last thing you said and just like can't let it go. And you're like, what would this person rather me have said that they would just move on with their life and leave me alone, kind of thing. So this is what they would have rather had you say, besides whatever it is that you did say. Lovers in reverse came out. Queen of Pentacles, Ten of Wands reversed, and the Chariot. They would have rather you literally said anything else than what you said. Like literally any other option would have been better, because what you said was the particular piece of the puzzle that fit right into their wound. Yeah, the sun there. inner child wound in which they felt disconnected or abandoned or something like that. You triggered that specific wound. Six of Cups came out as I said that. You triggered that specific wound. And that's what the delay is. They can't get past what you said. They literally cannot get past what you said. So in terms of what would they rather you have said, literally anything else. Pick any other star in the sky but that one. That was the worst thing that you could have said to them. And not in a way of like the worst thing that you could have said, because again, you said something stern, direct, but not nasty, not crossing a line. You made your point and you were like, this is my point, that here's the line, stay on that side of it. And this person, I mean, literally every day is a new beginning, and every day they choose the same path to continue being angry or bitter about this. They can't get past, because that's the thing. They would have rather you been nasty to them, because then they could have been like, see, I was right. But you weren't. You stayed in the energy of authentically who you are, and the energy of authenticity is so much stronger than all the other energies, and it lets this person know that boundary is not going to change based off of like sweet talk, or based off of popping up out of nowhere and trying to say, hey, none of those tactics are going to work with you. And they know that because of the authenticity that came from what you said. And they are very, it feels like not sleeping well, but also very anxious, because it's not just what you said, it's what was triggered within this person by what you said. Because it's almost like other people may appease this person, or like, yes, sure, this person often, and this person is all the way trapped in the fact that they know for a fact you will not willingly sabotage yourself at their requests. You know what I mean? And you've moved on from this situation, and they see that you've moved on from the situation, and that is making them even more stuck on the situation. The Emperor in reverse, they feel like they've lost all control. They don't know how, they can't see how they're going to be able to get over this without closure or without another conversation. But that's the thing, that's what's trapping them so bad. They want another conversation with you so bad, but they don't have no options, because they know that you're not going to reach out to them, and they cannot reach out to you and still have the upper hand in their mind. Strength in reverse. This is a person who comes off as very confident, and they're not. And that confidence that they portray is just a mask, because they're very, very insecure on the inside here. Very, very insecure on the inside. The Hierophant in reverse, it's like the mindsets that this person has downloaded into their system are not healthy ones. But since they had a lot of examples of unhealthy mindsets, they know it's not normal. It's probably coming from family. They know it's not normal. Oh, yeah, family in reverse. But they also don't have tools to fix it either. And I think that that's part of what triggers them so much about this as well, because they chose the wrong path here. They weren't seeing at the time that you were that person that could help download those proper mindsets into their reality, so they could fix these wounds that they've been holding on to for a very long time. And that's very triggering to them, because it is in your reply or response or whatever that last thing you said to them is, they finally got it. They were like, oh my gosh, I just hurt and pushed away the person who was meant to help me heal or grow or evolve, whatever it is. You were what this person was praying for, and they know that it is their fault that it fell apart. King of Pentacles in the bottom of the deck, you took your power back because you had divine authority that was telling you this is not the best place for your soul to spend energy. And you said, okay, I'm cool with that. I'm going to go find what is the best place for my soul to spend energy. And this person is looking at you now like, oh my gosh, I threw away the key and now I'm locked out of the house. This is for those who have dealt with gang stalking pretty heavily in the past, like been gang stalked in the past. And it felt like it died down for a bit, the Star in reversed. Especially in terms of like out in public, it feels like it died down. Like you knew you were still being monitored and all that, but it felt like in public it had died down. Like the pressure had died down. But recently, it seems like you're the center of attention again. This is going to be a look into what the renewed efforts are all about here. A release. It feels like coming to the edge of something or coming to the end of something. That could be the end of it altogether, like going to be left alone, but highly doubt that. It feels more like almost like a group is switching out for another group, a decision you can't go back from when it comes to victory. That's what it is. It feels like they know that you're getting some kind of big win soon, death, and there's nothing they can do to stop it because you healed your inner child, and that was the last block that was keeping this from coming to you. So that's what the edge is that I'm seeing, that they have no control over the situation when it comes to you getting what's due to you, getting what you've earned here. And they're trapped. There's nothing they can do but kind of watch it go by. So basically they're trying to get you to self-sabotage or get yourself in a low enough vibration by making you feel hopeless, making you feel like, oh, it's just about to start all over again. It's going to get renewed just like it was from the start. But no, it's not. 10 of Pentacles. You have something coming in. 10 of Pentacles and 10 of Cups. You have some kind of wish fulfillment, but it's like not a wish fulfillment like I wish upon a star. It's a wish fulfillment like I put in the work, the sacrifices, blood, sweat, and tears for this, and it's finally coming in. There's death again. You got delayed so many times in the past. It's not that this wasn't yours already. It's just that there were delays put in place and they don't have the ability to delay you right now. All they can do, because you broke some kind of chain here that was keeping you held back. Yeah, Chariot, you're moving forward and you have your higher support that's able to more easily access you now because there isn't that cord that was previously attached. The cord that was previously attached that was keeping you from this particular new beginning. And the moon is here as well. What was keeping you was this group of people that was up against you. But now it doesn't matter. You're making progress anyway. So all they can do right now is manipulate the situation to get you in a low enough vibration that either you push something away that's trying to come to you because you don't energetically line up if your vibration falls low enough, or just they want you to not enjoy it. There's the same card again, manipulating. They don't want you to enjoy it when it does come in. So this is basically just to try and get you to feel annoyed and agitated to lower your vibration so that you can't enjoy fully what you've already earned, that you should have already had, but they have been delaying it for a very long time. And they're not able to delay it anymore because it's coming in. Whatever they were doing as blocking is, their blocks are now blocked. The sun is here. You've shown light on what needed to be illuminated, and this is coming in for you. There's nothing they can do about it. Look at that. You're walking away from something unfulfilling, and there's fireworks in the background. There's nothing they can do to stop what's coming because you already earned it, and you have this divine protection and support here. They can't make your hard work fall apart because your manifestation is on its way. They will try and make you not be able to fully enjoy, be in your head, be in a lower vibrational state of feeling like you're in fight or flight, but you're not. They're not able to get to you like they were in the past. All they can do is try and get you to prevent yourself from enjoying the victory that you've already earned. And just don't let them do that, because whatever they are trying to make you feel about yourself in terms of making you feel like you'll never escape what they're doing, it's a lie. It's a lie, because your sacrifices were not in vain. You're going to see the light at the end of the tunnel here, and there's nothing they can do about it. You're going to retake your rightful throne here in front of everybody and whatever they are trying is not going to work. It's not going to knock you off track here. Only you can knock yourself off track. And that's what they want you to do. So long as you don't do that, there's nothing they can do right now. They had a whole team put together to go up against you, and they still lost. And you want to know why they lost? They lost the very moment that you decided that you were going to let them think what they wanted. You were going to let people be wrong about you. Because that was the moment that you truly on the inside realized that you knew who you were. And you didn't have to try and shout it from the rooftops to prove it. Because since you knew who you were, you knew that every action, every word, every day going forward would prove it for you. Because why would you be anything else? That was the moment that you took back full control. You didn't see it then. You weren't supposed to see it then. You were supposed to recognize it in little steps like you did. But looking back, that was the moment that you won. It didn't happen immediately, and it may not have really happened yet. But after that moment, they could not beat you. If you feel like the spiritual warfare on your life right now is just extremely high and you're not really sure what is going on, it's not necessarily coming from other people, but you know that it's very high, just in general, like almost coming straight from the devil, like an attack on your inner child, an attack on your grounding, stability, balance, trying to throw you off, trying to make you doubt yourself. You're attempted to being slowed down by this energy because there's some truth that someone doesn't want you speaking, and they're trying to prevent you from being all the way in your power so that you can really speak on it. So this is a mix of like the devil and some kind of ill will spoken on your name here, because you walked away from something unfulfilling because it was causing you a lot of stress and anxiety, and that's what increased this spiritual warfare on you. The sun is here because you shone a light on something, and that's what some power does not want to come out. Hierophant in reverse, trying to keep the secrets that you could expose, that you could make progress in this area of. But once you go there, you can't come back. And your truth is the ending of somebody else. And that's not because you're being malicious. It's just because someone played a certain role in your story and they wish they hadn't. They wish they hadn't gone 10 toes down into that energy they brought into your life, because now they're all on their own, and the only way that they can prevent certain truths from coming out is to try and slow you down or stop you. It's not going to work in terms of stopping you, but it is going to work in terms of kind of slowing you down a little bit. We have the Tower with the devil in reverse, or no, the devil upright. So the devil is really making his mark here. When I said going to slow you down a little bit is when the Tower came out. So it may feel like things are coming to a grinding halt, but that will only be momentarily. The Magician in reverse, the devil's trying to get you to self-sabotage or get you on your own to be falling into some kind of delusion or confusion and locking yourself out in the cold. They want to stop your forward progress here, especially when it comes to sharing something in a public way. So if it feels like sabotage and betrayal and being wrapped up in something, so they want to keep you stagnant and stuck so that you don't speak this truth. So it's not that you can be stopped right now because the roots are already in the ground. They can't stop the manifestation. They can delay it though, or kind of like see how much they can only delay you so much, but then they want to get you to delay yourself. but you have divine protection and support. So you are going to keep moving forward quicker than they want you to. They're not able to keep you trapped in the past here because you found a balance where you previously had imbalance. But you are kind of having to navigate certain things on your own instead of having 3D support. And that's because there's certain people that were put in your path by this same energy that wanted to stop you. There was people put in that were acting like friends that were really trying to stop you, trying to cause you to self-sabotage. So it's almost like there needed to be a readjustment here because certain people were concealing who they really were. And this stagnancy or this like slowing down feeling that you're dealing with is simply your higher self giving you the space to cut away the people who were ultimately going to try and sabotage you. Justice is upright with the Hangman in the reverse. So you are breaking free of this. You are breaking free of this like fighting energy because you already put in the work, and what you already planted the seeds for is due to you. You already earned it. Taking the swords out of your back, you already earned it. But there's certain people who don't want to see you have that. So that's why this spiritual warfare is kind of increased right now, because they want you to not be seen how they know that you're ultimately going to be seen after the delays you've worked through them all. So just keep putting one foot in front of the other and you'll get through this. Not as quickly as you would like, but not as slow as they attempted to make it for you. Looking into what is blocking or slowing down, or basically why is whatever you've been trying to manifest not here yet? What is in the energy that's causing it to not be in your reality right now? So you are about to learn something about yourself that's going to be kind of key. Tower moment and roots. It's going to really help you recognize fully your own potential, your own power. It's like if you were to get this manifestation right now, you'd be going into it like an 8 out of 10 in terms of where you should be, in terms of knowing that you deserve it, knowing that it's yours, knowing that it's been yours. Almost like unwrapping an onion. You were always the core of that onion, but you had all these layers of what the world tried to convince you that you are on top, that you had to go through the process of realizing, this is not me, I'm going to peel this off. This is not me, I'm going to peel this off. Independence like flipped over as I was saying that. You had to learn how to be in the world, not of the world. And not that you were of the world, but you had these layers that were protecting you from certain pieces of the world, or certain pieces of the world that triggered certain wounds in you. And you had to do the work of healing the wounds, and you had to do the work of peeling back those layers. And it has a lot to do with going back and looking at why you had to have certain experiences in the past, or why you had to go through certain things and what it was preparing you for. And as soon as you kind of integrate that, it comes in very quickly, this manifestation. So it's not that you're being blocked from something or slowed down from something because you're not ready for it. It's just this inner child wound that kind of still needs to be healed, or this past wound. So when you fully take your power, you are ready to enjoy it more so than you would be if you're going into it still questioning pieces of the past. So this is kind of this is like calm before the storm, but like a good storm. This is like celebration. This is the calm. So your higher self is giving you time to integrate what you've experienced so that you can take the lessons with you and leave the baggage of it behind, because you've had false starts before with this manifestation. It's gotten close, or you felt like it was close, or you felt like it was right around the next corner, and then you went around the corner and there was a monster instead, and you're like, okay, nope, the battle is still ongoing, tower moment after tower moment, but the star was right behind the tower. So this tower moment that you're experiencing is a positive tower moment, and it's not an external tower moment, it's an internal revelation that causes certain paradigms that you were struggling with before to kind of collapse, ones that weren't serving you. So there's something from your past that is the key that really unlocks this manifestation. And it's interesting because you are the key. Hierophant in reverse. It's a mindset that needs to be seen from a different perspective. It's not that the mindset in itself is totally wrong. It's just that you need to release. That came up with the 10 of Cups. So you need to release, another release here. Something that's blocking you from being all the way as confident as you should be when it comes to knowing that you already earned this. It's almost like you were in the knowing that you earned this previously when you had one of those false starts, and you know that it's owed to you. This is a one-sided debt, domestic joy and happiness, independence, the sun. You know that you already earned this, but because there was a false start, you were questioning, did I do something wrong to lose it? Or what's going on? Why am I having this false start? And the false start was because it was your higher power showing you, you earned this manifestation. It's yours, but do you believe it? Do you believe that you earned it? Do you believe that you deserve it? Because I'm going to pause for a second so that you can get on board with your higher self, because your higher self is knowing that you deserve it, knowing that you earned it, knowing that it's yours. Your higher self wanted to check if you knew those things too. So there's another release here. As soon as you see that, you're released from whatever's holding you back, because it's throwing you a little bit off balance when it comes to feeling your feelings, and that is blocking you from fully stepping into your passion here. And that's what's blocking forward action, because you're not recognizing how a certain sacrifice that you previously made, you know what it is? It's like you made a sacrifice and you were looking at it as if you were making a sacrifice for other people, and you were, and it still is that, but you're not recognizing fully yet that that sacrifice actually had a double meaning, because it was in you being very selfless with this sacrifice. Your selflessness is that key, but because you are so selfless, you also need to recognize that because of your selflessness, you earned something greater. You earned something extra. And you weren't being selfless for that reason. So for you, that kind of feels weird. It's like, oh, well, I wasn't doing it for that, so just give me the regular. I don't need the extra. But your higher self is like, no, no, no. Because you did this and you weren't expecting extra, that's why you earned the extra. So that's kind of what's taking this manifestation a little bit longer. Yeah, your higher self, and it's beyond your control. Your higher self has supersized your manifestation. So you're not getting the regular meal, you're getting the supersized version, and that's why it's taken a little bit longer. But what will call it in is you really recognizing that you already earned it. It's already yours. A decision you can't go back from, and judgment. It's already yours. It's already something that aligns with your specific energy field. You just have to believe it, and once you do, it'll be yours in the 3D as well. Being in alignment with divine authority is really cool, because you can literally sit there and listen to people be so triggered and go so nuts over just simply you being on the path of what you're called to do. And it quite literally doesn't matter what they say when you know who you are and you know why you're doing what you're doing. Divine authority is when you don't need anyone else's permission, you don't need anyone else's approval, and you don't even need them to like it. Because who does like it? Who is approving it? No one on earth can take that away or stop what God has put into motion for your life. So once you're in that place where it doesn't matter what they say, it doesn't matter what they throw at you, it's not going to make you doubt or question what you're doing, because you know that what you're doing is your soul giving you the instructions of what you were sent here to do. Someone did not believe in karma, at least not until they decided to try you. And now that they've tried you, they have no other option than to believe in karma, because they took the path of not being able to simply get out of it this time. And right now their karma is more of a private, but it is turning into more of a public. What's going on in private will be revealed in public, because of the choice that they tried to make to stop you from getting what was divinely called to you. Trying to knock you off your throne here and uproot you. But this person got several warnings not to do this to you. This person got several warnings and chose to not listen to them. King of Pentacles with the Emperor reversed. This person went against their own higher guidance. And their higher guidance stepped in and said, you don't want to be doing this. And the person went ahead with it anyway. They tried to strong arm you spiritually to get you to be the one to walk away from your divine path. And they weren't able to do that. And as soon as you passed the test of you seeing that they weren't able to stop you and that the only one who could stop you is yourself, that is the moment that this person's karma started hitting. And they had nothing else to celebrate anymore. Where previously they were kind of sitting pretty, thinking that they literally escaped death here, thinking that they were going to find a way in out of the cold because they thought that you would not put together what you needed to put together here. They thought that you would be the one to take yourself off the path, and not that that would have allowed them to avoid karma anyway, but it would have made the public representation of their karma easier to deal with, because they could have still painted you as the bad guy. Justice in the reverse. But they can't do that. King of Swords, High Priestess, because everybody, Queen of Wands, sees that you were not the one that was in the wrong here, and that this person's karma is not anything other than what they created and sent to themselves through their actions and choices. So this person did not believe in karma, but looking forward now, knowing they can't go back, they believe in karma now, because they have no other choice. Karma is sitting right at their table with them. And karma is straight up telling this person, this is because of what you did to a chosen one. They can no longer deny it. And they know that the time for public karma is right around the corner. They lose publicly as you win publicly. They're not gonna like that. I love this. Their protection is bought. Lightworkers' protection is divine. Their protection is bought. Man holding a pentacle, protecting the pentacle. Their protection is bought, which means it can't really protect them. It can't really give them what would actually make them feel happy. Lightworkers' protection is divine. Standing in the doorway of whatever we want to accomplish on the other side, because we're doing it for the right reasons. And they can't stop it. The moon in reverse. They can't stop it. Secret's out. They can't stop what the divine has ordained for the light worker to do. Thank you for this. A lot of people need to hear this today, because spiritual warfare is at a height right now. The devil can't stop me. I'm a fighter. I am strong and a warrior. We have something exciting to share with you. You are a manifesting master and you don't even know it. There will always be enough of everything that you need in your life: money, opportunities, love, kindness. So whatever you're asking guidance about, have faith and be open to the many ways in which you will experience prosperity. Spirit is the source of your supply. So quite literally, the devil will not win. The universe is always reflecting back to you what you believe. The devil can't win. So it's reflecting back to you the fact that you will win. So whenever you fall into insecurity, you'll be shown an illusion as if what you fear were real. But the truth is that the universe is abundant. You are and always have been enough, and abundance is your natural state. If you can imagine something consistently as truth, you can and will create it. So just keep saying this: the devil can't stop me. I am a fighter, I am strong, and I am a warrior, and it will be so. You are on the right path now. Keep believing, then the seeing happens. Let's pull one more. Let's see what P.S. What else do our guides have to say about this? The journey wasn't the smoothest or the most pleasant lately, but everything is coming together. Your patience, strength, and perseverance will soon be rewarded. The wait is almost over. Hold on. So one more time. The devil can't stop me. I am a fighter. I am strong and a warrior. Have a good day. There was some kind of decision or choice to be made here, and you made the right decision. You may be still questioning if you made the right decision, but you made the right decision because you made the decision that would have made your inner child or your childhood self proud, feel safe, feel like it was a safe place to be. And that was really the goal of this particular test. Wasn't to rush forward and not to rush forward to make a point to anyone else other than yourself. But you didn't know until now or until after that was the dynamic of this particular decision. You had divine support for it, and it was slow and steady wins the race, not rushing forward. So you had kind of like a secret spiritual test that was, you're going to be triggered, you're going to be tested. Are you going to try and prove your point externally, or are you going to hold a safe place for your inner child? And you made the right decision. Good job. For a while, you gave excuses for other people because you knew that they didn't have your specific experiences. You knew that they weren't inside your head seeing the world like you were. So you made excuses for their bad behavior. And you weren't doing this to self-sabotage, but you recently recognized that it is a self-sabotaging behavior when we make excuses for people's bad behavior, when they make wrong choices of how to approach situations. Yes, they may not be in your head. They might not see the world like you see it. They might not have had the same experiences as you. But they knew better than how they treated you, regardless if they understood you or not. And for a long time, you tried to find fault in yourself, fault in maybe you weren't showing them fully what was inside your mind. Maybe you weren't conveying it to them properly in a way that they could understand. And maybe you were, maybe you weren't. But the decisions and choices that they made in how they handled the way that they understood you and the way that they treated you when they misunderstood you, that's not your fault. It doesn't matter if they can see where you're coming from. There are still certain ways that you do and don't treat others. And even when you misunderstood them, even when you didn't agree with things that they were doing or saying, you never approached it in the way that they approached you. You tried to hold space for those you couldn't understand. And they tried to cut you down because they saw you as less than. You are not the same. That's why it hurts. It's because you speak to people from your soul and they respond to you from their ego. You are seeing these people at their healed, higher selves because that is the nature of who you are. You see them that way in hopes that they will manifest into that higher version of themselves, and not for you, for themselves. because that's who it's helping. You want that for them. But they weren't ready to hold space, to look at something that they weren't understanding, in this case you, with compassion, with not trying to cut you down so that they could belittle you, your thoughts, your feelings, your words, belittle anything they could, because you are viewing a perspective of wanting them to rise, knowing they're not at their highest self yet, and still staying around and wanting them to rise into their highest self, while they're seeing you trying to be at your highest self and wanting to cut you down because you weren't doing it the way they wanted you to do it. You approach the situation and speak to others from your soul, and they respond to you from their ego, from their human side. That's why it hurts. But that's also why people are so triggered when they can't knock you down to size, because they recognize their righteousness is misplaced. When they can't cut you down to size, when they fail to remove your divine authority from you, all of a sudden they recognize, maybe my judgments were wrong. And they cannot cope with that because they are not ready to evolve into that higher self that you see them into. You're holding space for them to be there, and they're looking at a decision and saying, I'm going to go in the opposite direction. Tomorrow starts November. If your spirit team could tell you what the main thing they wanted you to focus on for this upcoming month. Some kind of holding your ground here when it comes to releasing some kind of pain. We also have the Hanged Man. So this is like sticking to your guns on a sacrifice that you made, and not allowing yourself to go back and doubt yourself or question yourself, because you're about to learn a major truth that's going to take you on an adventure here. You're walking away from something unfulfilling in order to get what you want, but it doesn't feel like you're walking away from a person. It feels like you're walking away from a mindset, and specifically an avenue of internal dialogue that you go down when you're frustrated with yourself or when you're frustrated with your circumstances. This is the month of really focusing on correcting any internal dialogue that's not serving you, even if you don't see the immediate effect of it. You're just like, okay, well, I always talk to myself like that in my head and whatever. This is the month. Try and change it and see what that changes for you externally as well. This is like catching yourself in the moment when you're starting to go down the route of internal dialogue that doesn't serve you. And basically what I mean by that is like the way that you talk to yourself, either when no one's around or in your own mind. And allowing yourself to stop yourself dead in your tracks when you start to see this conversation that I'm having with myself, or the way that I'm thinking about myself or talking about myself, it's not serving me. And typically in the past, you may have kind of just finished the day out and tried better the next day. Your guides, your higher self really wants you to let this be the month where you say, I'm noticing this behavior, I'm noticing this pattern, I'm noticing this negative or low vibrational or detrimental internal dialogue, and I'm stopping it right now. And the best way to stop it in its tracks is to have something else to replace it with. Because if you kind of just take it away and then there's nothing, you feel trapped. It's harder to give yourself that fresh start. This is like false start after false start, because you try to stop yourself and you don't have a replacement behavior, so you end up falling back into it. This is like, have maybe a specific affirmation that you listen to, maybe even a specific song. Pick one song for each week or something like that. That's like a positive, uplifting song, or at least a song that will kind of call you out for not fully being on your own team and getting you back on your own team. The internal dialogue here feels like you bench yourself in the middle of the game. Like things start to get intense and you're like, okay, no, sit on the bench, to yourself in your own energy. But this is like going forward, but with tools so that if you start to slip back into bad behaviors, you can stop yourself and correct course right there. First things first, everyone go check out Sorry Miss Jackson, because she literally triggers downloads in my brain every time I talk to her. Also, secondly, this is key because they are competing with their higher self. They know what they're capable of. This was on a video where I was saying that you see people at their highest self and they respond to you from their ego or their human self, but you're seeing their potential and what they can be. You are, or light workers are, this pure reflective source. So you are reflecting back to them the higher potential that they could be, or at least work on attaining. And when they are actively trying to turn their back to that, to stay in their comfort zone, that's why it's so triggering for people who are still in their ego to see people who are living their truth and stepping into their purpose. Justice in reverse. It's so triggering for them because they want the same, but they're not sure how to take those steps to attain it because they're difficult, and you have to look internally in a way that they have been avoiding. So they believe that they're competing with the light worker, but the light worker is not competing with them, because the light worker, as I said in the video, is trying to help them realize and recognize, hey, I'm seeing you at your higher self. Can you see you at your higher self? Let's try that. It's triggering to them because they're not ready, but they can't look at you and see anything else because you are in that pure reflector energy where you are reflecting back to them, hey, I'm seeking my higher purpose. I'm standing in my potential. All they can see is what they're lacking. Ten of Pentacles. They want that Ten of Pentacles. They want to ground themselves in that abundant energy. Five of Cups covering strength. They have the strength within them. They have this achievable, but it was covered by the Five of Cups. They need to learn and recognize where they are blocking themselves. And until they want to admit that they are blocking themselves, they're going to keep making it seem like you are blocking them or doing something wrong by trying to outshine them because they're not ready to turn their light on yet. Knight of Swords, very fast knight, but in reverse. They're backing up very quickly from doing that because it's uncomfortable and requires them to step out of their comfort zone. The Fool. It requires them to step out of their comfort zone. And when they're not ready, you will become enemy number one because you are reflecting back to them what they are not ready yet to become. That doesn't mean stop seeing them at their higher self. It means keep seeing them at their higher self, but set boundaries to where they can't try and lower you down to their comfort zone. What is meant for you won't pass you by. You will never have to force something that is truly meant to be. Trust in the perfection of divine timing and allow your life to unfold as it should. Whatever comes, let it come. Whatever goes, let it go. You can't force them to see themselves in their highest potential. But if they are trying to force you to see them lower than that, what you can do is say, I'm ready to hold space for you when you're ready to step into it. But what I'm not going to let you do is affect my growth and healing. There are certain people from your past, and they used to judge you very harshly, not to your face because they're not brave enough. But behind the scenes, they used to talk a lot and judge you very harshly for the way that you were handling certain things. because they thought they knew everything, yet they had no idea what you were dealing with behind the scenes. However, God has jokes, and he's playing one on them because they put themselves in the position to be made the butt of a joke. They wanted to judge you so harshly and label you, and now they are in the same position where they had it all together. They thought they were solid, they thought they were grounded, they thought they were stable, and that flipped upside down. And now they're recognizing and realizing there was probably more to your story. They probably weren't looking ahead, seeing what would I do if I was dealing with certain things. They weren't looking at it and saying, man, I wonder what that person's going through, that this is what we're seeing from them. They just wanted to judge you very harshly, very quickly, and they're releasing those judgments now. Because they are quite literally in the same position while you are healed from it, or at least you're out on the other side of it because you stayed true and authentic to yourself, and you had divine support because of it. These people do not have that divine support. You have divine support, they do not, and they are feeling like they need to find a way to bring themselves back to life now. You get what you give. And they gave out a lot of hate. They gave out a lot of negativity to you, except you transmuted it. You created something of your pain. They trapped themselves, and this is starting very private, very secluded. It's not public like yours was, but they have been made aware that that's where it's heading. They can see things behind the scenes falling apart, and they know that eventually that's going to show on the surface too. And it's interesting because it's almost like they want to reach out to you, High Priestess. They want to reach out to you to be like, hey, how did you get through this spiritual warfare? Because I'm struggling, and I know that you went through it. And they wrestle with their pride very often about reaching out to you. Someone from the past. But they decide against it because they don't want you to see them. They're trying to cover being in this energy. They're trying to cover it. They're staying in some kind of illusion here, thinking that if they just don't acknowledge it, another path will present itself. But they're starting to recognize and realize that the only path that's going to be presented to them is for them to have to publicly face what they did to you in private. Because they thought it would stay private, but it's manifesting, and it's not going to stay hidden for long. And they're going to be on their own dealing with it while you continue to grow and evolve, turning your pain into purpose. Using your pain for passion, specifically the betrayal from people like this. You've transmuted it. And that's what it is that they can see that you took this pain. Look how the light is shining onto the pain. That's literally the picture of transmuting, sabotage, betrayal. Heavy burdens right behind it. So you transmuted the pain, and all of these heavy burdens are what you used to turn what you went through into some kind of magic. And these people now look at you like you are a real magician. Justice in reverse. They don't see how you were able to overcome all the injustice that was done to you and still be standing. Still be taking leaps, strides, or at least big steps forward. Walking. They don't see it because they are so imbalanced right now, and they've lost everything that they gained, or they're on their way to losing everything that they thought they would gain from what they did to you. And a lot of the messages that they sent out about you, being that they knew that they were lies, or at least they knew that they had no proof of what they were saying about you, but they were saying it because it further clarified the false story that they wanted to believe about you, which they knew was not true. They just wanted to take you off your throne and leave you secluded and alone all by yourself. And that is exactly what is hunting them down now. The karma of what they created. They can't avoid it. And they're gonna have to go into it almost like it's gonna feel like falling off of a cliff. But instead of falling off of a cliff, it's gonna be falling into a crowd of people that are gonna witness them experiencing what they put you through. Maybe not exactly, but the emotions that they made you feel, whatever pieces in their life need to be moved around for them to feel those same emotions, plus tax from what they caused to you. Split the deck. That's what's unfolding for them. Quite literally, everything that they made you feel, they are going to feel in whatever way the pieces of their particular life puzzle fit, while you stay balanced. It's not touching you now because you have this higher perspective, and these people can now face their karma because you won't run in and try and save them and get any of that nasty karma energy on you. You have a higher perspective now. Told you. And the interesting thing is that they see it too. They know it too. And they know that out of everyone, if anyone was going to help them gain that higher perspective so they too could make it out of the mess that they created for themselves, it's like a wrestling match between this person's ego, pride, and desperation. There's the Hangman again. They're really walking into the season of learning what my favorite quote really means. Play dumb games, win dumb prizes. Okay, hear me out. Is it just me, or does it feel like ever since the full moon that the darkness has kind of been trying anything it can to bring down the vibration of a light worker? Don't stop. Don't stop fighting against it. So it's fair to say that that is the case. It has amped up because the darkness knows that the light is expanding. That says within the next few weeks. What is causing the light to rapidly expand within the next few weeks that the darkness is scared of? Reversal of a man-made disaster. What man-made disaster are we reversing? A separation from what? Not talking. So the moon that I'm referring to was the hunter's moon. Are they hunting the light workers because the light workers have been released from some kind of bondage that was keeping us from fully standing in our truth loudly? No more smoke and mirrors. Confirmation. Secrets revealed. Oh my. They opened a portal. Oh my God. One second. I had to collect the cards. They opened the portal and let in the hunters, the ones who are trying to keep the lightworkers from boldly stepping forward. Ritual exposed. They did it on the moon. Confirmation that they opened a portal on the full moon. Those in power, the royalty. So they opened the portal to let in bad, but at the same time, they knew that because of duality, that meant that lightworkers would be freed from the bondage of something that was keeping us from stepping forward. Yes, success. Of course you will make mistakes, but the biggest one would be not to try. You have nothing to lose. This thing you have been thinking about for a long time, just go for it. Better an oops than a what if. We are here to support you. I think it's time for us all to come together. Have a good night. I think it's time for us all to come together. Abundance. Someone from your past is going to another person and saying, oh my gosh, I really messed up. This person either tried to sabotage you, block you, stop you, take something that was yours, take it how it resonates. So we're going to look at the conversation that the sabotager is having with another party. For the sake of this, let's say that the other party was not really involved. They may have known stuff, but they weren't necessarily involved. So person one will be the sabotager. Card so you know who that person is. All the pieces of their plan fell apart. This is also like an overnight bag, so take that how it resonates. One more. This person, you likely cut the cord because of the drama. That either came from this person or just like there was a lot of drama in your life during that time period. Sabotager, person one. Running from fear or trying to cover fear. Trying to cover how much fear they feel. So they're saying to this person, I'm not scared, I'm just made an accident. Oh, okay, so I was right the first time. Oh, lies was behind it. I'm not scared. I won't really get that bad of karma because it was an accident. They're still lying, clearly. Person two. That's a bad idea. Person one. So body double, deep fake in reverse. The real news about me is, oh, this person already lost something for this. Either their spiritual protection. That's the struggle revealed. They're not struggling externally yet, but they are aware that the struggle is coming and that their spiritual protection is not there. Giving back. They are going to receive whatever they took from you. So like if they tried to take from you. If they tried to take your gifts, theirs have been, whatever they had spiritually has been taken. If they tried to sabotage your finances, their finances are going downhill quick. If they tried to stand in the way of your love life, everyone's going to fall away from them. Poison revealed. They are going to, that quote that I say, the worst that I wish for other people is that you meet yourself in another person. This person is meeting their own karma. They are meeting what they sent to you or what they tried to do to you, it didn't work all the way. It's coming to them in the way that it would have hit you if it worked, plus tax. Person 2. Okay, so it's likely that this is finances, but also money is my confirmation card. So it seems like person 2 is kind of yesing person 1. Like, okay, yeah, I'm sure your karma won't be that bad. Person 1. I'm still trying to hide, devil in reverse, my evil side. It feels like one of those conversations where both people know that one of the people is like losing their mind and in the wrong and still trying to deny it, but they're just like, okay, we'll see what happens, because they both know what's going to happen. Fair to say? It's time. It's time for it, yeah. One of those you'll believe it when you see it type things. So person 2 says, you're probably going to drown. You're going to sink. This is going to take you for a ride. Person 1, and I have no spiritual protection. Life insurance in reverse. I'm on my own. Person 2, it's a man-made disaster. You did it to yourself. Person 1, somehow by the end of this conversation, it seems as though person 1 is taking some accountability. Why is that? Because what they sent out is coming back to hit them. And we have relationship and finances both confirmed. So it seems as though it's like whatever they sent out at the end to you is what's hitting them first. It's like going in reverse. And there is legal proceedings. They're paying big time for what they did to you. Greed exposed of someone who should have been in a caretaking position. Someone who pretended to be a friend but was a big foe. Yeah, that says war. Uncovered. Play dumb games, win dumb prizes. So it is November 2nd, so we're looking at what are we going to say no to this month? What do we need to put our foot down on, walk away from? Anything that stops us from really being in our divine authority. Anyone who tries to take us out of our alignment with divine authority, especially when it comes to actioning, speaking our truth. Anything that keeps us stuck, stagnant, anything that tries to make us turn around and look backwards, that's going to be a no. This is basically like we want to stay content in our environment. So if there's any energy in the environment, anything that needs to be straightened up, anything that would bring our vibration down, saying no to allowing ourselves to stay uncomfortable in our environment, making sure that our environment suits our current energy. Saying no to false starts. If you're trying to push forward on something and it's not working, it's not about giving up. It's about finding which direction you're being led to pivot in. We're not accepting staying in place. We're fighting for the right new beginning that suits us. Saying no to allowing other people to come in and my throat chakra closing up as I said this, directing which way we should put our efforts or energy, focusing more on what's coming internally and not being led in a different direction by someone else who may not see things the way that we do. No judging yourself too harshly, especially for the past. You're right where you need to be to get to where you want to go, and we're gonna say no to any voices in our heads that tell us that we're late, that we're behind, that we messed something up. You're right where you need to be to get to where you want to go. We're gonna say no to anything that makes us overspend either energetically, monetarily, with our love, anything that makes us overspend and doesn't refill us. So if it's not fulfilling, if it's not rewarding, we're not going to invest in it this month. And last one, anything that blocks our emotional flow. So we're going to say no to holding back. We're going to say no to burying our feelings. Just for this month, try to sit with your feelings. Try to unpack them. Realize or see what they're trying to teach you or where they're trying to guide you. The theme of this month, a decision that you cannot go back from. So once you make the decision to make these changes and say no to the things that are not serving you, don't look back. Continue forward even in the harder moments. You are a true mirror for other people. You show them exactly what is unhealed within them. Queen of Cups, Six of Swords. This would be the mirror, and this is the transition that they are triggered into making when they are in your presence. However, everybody is not ready for that. Some people want to stop that wheel from moving because they don't like what they see in that reflection. Especially if you're reflecting back to them something that you have done the healing work in and they have not done the healing work in that particular area. They want to reach for that light, but they don't know how. So instead of ending the cycle that's not serving them, they stay trapped in their heads and try and uproot your self-love because they cannot find a way to align with their own. They have the light, they just don't want to do the work to turn it on because they've been in that energy for a very long time and they're defensive. It's almost like once I heal that, then I could be dropped back down from that into this lower energy, and that's what scares these people. Going back down the staircase, feeling separate from what they re-attain. So a lot of people will avoid doing the work because they don't want to have something to potentially lose. And it may not be that they're consciously aware of that's why they're doing it, but there is a lot of hard work that's involved that it's almost like they feel like it's not worth it. They're avoiding that death and rebirth because they don't want to put in the effort and energy that it would take to turn that light back on and turn a different corner here. And because you are a true reflector back to these people, they see that you are coming from a higher perspective, but they are unaware of where the ladder is to climb up and meet you there. So instead, they feel more comfortable convincing you, who obviously knows where the ladder is because you've climbed up it. It's more comfort zone conforming to them to just convince you to come back down the ladder and stay with them at the lower level, since they aren't doing the work to find the ladder and then climbing it to meet you where you are in that higher perspective. Especially since the last full moon or some kind of whatever the last solar events were, people are stuck in this energy of self-pity because they see those with the light really starting to shine it and share it. And it's triggering to them because you get what you give, and they're not happy about what they gave and what they are now receiving based off of what they gave. The light is shining on a missed opportunity here. So these people are recognizing, I could have had this higher perspective, but I chose to avoid doing the work. I chose to avoid climbing the ladder, and you did not. You chose to do the hard work. You chose to put the message out there that others could do it too, but they chose not to. And you used to be in this energy, but you broke free from it. You broke free from it. You realized that your sacrifices were not for nothing, and they were actually leading you to a bigger platform of being able to shine your light more authentically on a wider scale. And these people are still trapped in their heads here and not figuring out that they too can achieve the perspective that you fought hard to achieve here. They're just not looking forward and seeing it that way. They could have the divine support that you have, but instead they're spilling out hate. They're trying to make you doubt yourself. They're trying to make you come down the ladder because they aren't ready to climb it. So don't take it personally if people are very triggered by you recently, lately, or coming up in the near future, because it's just a sign that your light has gotten brighter. And as I said that, my phone went dark. It's just a sign that your light has gotten brighter, and that intimidates those who are more comfortable staying in the darkness. It was easier for them to say that you're full of yourself because of your healing than it is for them to admit that they were inspired by you, encouraged by your healing. It's more convenient for them to say that you're faking it than to admit that you had the strength to change the parts of you that weren't serving you while they remained the same. It's more convenient for them to bring up pieces of your past and who you fought to not be anymore than to admit to a group of people, or even to themselves, that you aren't in the same place and they are. That was like a loud jet. You are not in the same place because you chose to do whatever it took to not be in that same place. And all they can do is sit there and listen and watch that jet take off, knowing that there's nothing they can do to get on it with you now. Of course they're going to try and diminish your light. It brings attention to what they're trying to keep in the dark. They may hate you now and not understand why, because they look at the fact that you trigger them as it's a you problem. Because in the past, you were the scapegoat. So of course they're going to try and scapegoat towards you instead of looking at the problem that's coming from them. They may hate you now for triggering them. They may talk badly about you, but your light just is. You don't have to prove it. And one day, they will recognize that you proved to them that there was darkness that was holding them back from being in their authentic light. And believe it or not, and I know it's probably very hard to believe right now with all the shade and hate they throw at you, and they may not admit it out loud, but one day, they'll be thankful that you triggered them. They'll be thankful that you made them think out of their comfort zone, because they had to get an explanation of how could you do it and they can't. And diving into that mentally will help them eventually recognize that it's not something that they're prevented from doing. They just have to focus internally and stop using you as the scapegoat. And that is what your light will do for them. And eventually, although they may not admit it, they will be grateful. It may still feel like you lost because you haven't seen the vindication for your pain yet, but it's coming. But those who went against you, those who tried to stop you, mislead you, hurt you on purpose, God let them do all that. Your karma, you paid for every wrong decision that you made when you were in survival mode. You paid the price for that. You balanced out that karma. These people are about to learn that their karma is being stuck being who they let themselves become. Their biggest karma is having to look in the mirror who they have allowed themselves to stoop down to in an effort to stop someone else or bring someone else down. Their biggest karma is that they are going to have to admit that they are the ones who are stopping themselves and bringing themselves down now. Their karma is dealing with the consequence of having to be who they are and now have everyone else know who they are too. Your karma was basically you having to re-recognize that you are the light, and they had you convinced that the darkness could take you if they just kept you low enough in vibration. So any of your karma that you had to balance out was simply because when you were in survival mode, you fought to see the light, but it was hard. While theirs is the fact that they were pretending to be light, knowing that they were darkness. And now they'll be faced with looking at that in the mirror and having to say, well, how did you do it? Because you were facing the darkness and you fought to turn around and face the light. They now are going to have to follow the example that you set. And that is a big part of their karma. They're upset because they wanted any reaction out of you, and you gave them none. And they also had to witness you. They could not stop you. They had to witness you transmuting what it is that they needed a reaction from you about. They couldn't take you out of the balance that you have created in your mind. And it's because you knew you owed it to yourself to release certain things that were not yours to carry. And it's interesting because these people are starting to recognize and realize that they were trying to get you to overreact or blow up or react. And now that their presence is removed from your life, they can't get that overreaction or even a reaction from you. And they could in the past when they had a accord with you. And now these people are starting to recognize and realize, because that cord has been cut, that since you walked away, you no longer react. And that's because the reactions that you were giving before was because they were projecting that on to you. And when you had that cord there, you were accepting it to some degree into your reality. But your overreactions, or even your reactions in the past when you were in a state of survival mode, that wasn't you. That was what they were projecting onto you. And so this was a test. Can I still get this person to react? Can I get them to overreact? Because that would be great, but can I even get a reaction out of them? And they did not get one from you. And that right there was the solid proof that they now know that cord is cut. And what they know, because they now know that, is that whatever protection they had because of your love before, since you have gone on this whole new path, they know, there's that magician again, they know it's severed, they know it's cut. And they now know that the plan that they had to sabotage you, that required you giving them something as ammo by a reaction or overreaction, they now know that that whole plan can't work because they can't get you to react in the way they need to in order to use it against you. Congratulations. You beat them at their own game. This comment was on a video that was saying they didn't know who you were then, but they know now. Karma's kind of hitting them. They're wishing they could surrender from the fight they started, but no refunds, no exchanges, no returns. Final sale. You learned how to use your experiences to rise above the situation, and they are just getting their secrets revealed. What they wanted to keep in the dark, it's coming out. As she said, no exchanges, no returns. Final sale. You're rising above, they're backtracking. All because they wanted to try and attack your inner child. But you went inside, shone a light on it, and did the healing and alchemized everything they sent your way. There is a long-awaited and much-deserved positive shift coming your way. It's kind of been slow and steady wins the race here, but you've planted the seeds, and self-love is the water that has been watering those seeds. You previously were not in a state of feeling your feelings, which was making it difficult to be in that state of self-love that is required to water these seeds, but the sun is now shining on exactly what is sprouting for you. There is some advice here to be very careful about who you're letting in about your plans or how much information that you're giving to people. Judgment with the star reverse. They may try and sabotage you or derail you if you give them too much information. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles and the Chariot both in the reverse. They may try and slow you down or stop you if you give people too much ammo to do so. So this is kind of a keep it close to the chest type thing. Look at that. It's like a beat up heart. As I said, keep it close to the chest. And this would be like competition and conflict reversed. So in order to not have to deal with certain things, kind of keep it close to the chest, as I said. Ace of Pentacles, when I split the deck though, there is a new beginning coming in for you that isn't able to be stopped because you already earned it. You already put in the work for it. You're no longer out in the cold here. And it's making other people a little upset because either they had a chance to come with you for the ride and they fumbled it, or they had a chance to do their own inner work and they chose to focus on the wrong things instead. But expect and anticipate to trigger people who had the opportunity to grow and evolve and chose something else that's not important to their evolution instead. You put down the heavy burden though, so don't let things get to you. Don't let things slow you down. It's like Cupid's bow and arrow going right for the target. The arrow is already in the air and on its way to the target, and it's gonna hit, right? So the only thing that you could do to stop it would be to run up there and grab it out of the air. Otherwise it's yours. And it's because you chose to leave behind something that wasn't working for you. We have 5 and 5. You wiped your hands clean of attaching yourself or giving energy to anything that doesn't serve you or doesn't push you forward towards this goal. And you're no longer stuck in the past here. You're no longer letting other people affect your vibration. Queen of Swords reverse. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter how they feel. You're going on this adventure and quite literally no one can stop you. They can get you to slow yourself down, but they cannot stop you. And the only way they can get you to slow yourself down is if you give attention to things that are not serving you. Phone call for confirmation. Don't pay attention to things that are not serving you. I don't know the science behind it, but if you have really bad anxiety, get a little mini heater for your feet. It solves like at least 22% of the anxiety. Scientifically possibly proven. There was someone who came into your life and They wanted to kind of throw rocks but hide their hands kind of thing. This is looking into what their deal was. So it looks like they kind of pick themselves up by putting other people down because it gives them this power trip that they otherwise don't have. They like to try and almost trauma bond and then leave you on your own because they want that feeling of having someone to depend on them, having someone stuck in a trap that they don't know how to get out of. The trap of the mind, but also probably a physical manifestation of that as well. So like, I want to get you trapped in a prison of your own mind and then get you trapped in an external trap so it brings you out of your prison mind where you have to focus on fixing the 3D and then you lose it and have to try and depend on me. That seems like what this is. And they try and do this all with the manipulation of words. This could be literal spells, or this could be just the way that they speak to you, about you, or the way that they alter your internal dialogue because they make you feel a different way about yourself. The Devil and King of Pentacles both came out in reverse. This is like, I want to take away anything good you have going in your life and then try and refill it with good things so you think good things come from me and then leave you high and dry. In a way that you wouldn't see coming, and take away all the hard work that you put in, or all the progress that you've made, or all the healing that you've made. That's why they wanted to throw rocks and hide their hands. Why else? They like watching you struggle because they feel like if they're the ones who caused that struggle, then the more you struggle translates in their mind to the more power they have. So they can get you to depend on them and then leave you high and dry, parental figure in reverse. Also, no privacy. Invasion of external privacy and living rent-free in your mind. Like they have a loudspeaker directing all your thoughts. That's what they wanted. Mental health. That's what they wanted. To ruin your mental health. That's why they wanted to throw rocks and hide their hands, because they wanted to ruin you so they felt powerful, but they didn't also want to look like a bad person, because that would taint the power that they feel like they have, which they don't, because they're the bad person. And their karma is going to be meeting themselves in another person while they grieve the loss of you. So, this is like a personal reading for everyone to see, I guess. Well, what type of spell work has been sent to me in the last 6 months? 2 cards. Mind control exposed. Trying to separate me from my abilities. Through what method? My abilities through God, which you can't separate. Yeah, can't buy your way in there. So the ones who tried to do that, how's it going for them? All of them. Oh, a natural disaster. Oh, their protection is gone, huh? This is the card when it's upright. I say reconnect like old times. Not connecting all of them because of the disaster they caused. Confirmation. Uh-oh. Just gonna pull one card from this other deck. We're gonna pull a card to represent my favorite quote. play dumb games, win dumb prizes. That says inside job. Have the day you deserve. Someone treated you like an option and they're in big regret now for this. Why? Because they didn't show you that they cared, but that doesn't mean that they didn't care. They hid behind either they're always busy or other things would take them away from being present in the moment, or whatever it was, they were just never fully there. And they didn't say what they wanted to say. Why? Because they've been repressing or suppressing their emotions for a long time, and it feels like they're drowning in them. Wouldn't want to be them. They're stuck in a hell of their own making. It's like they let in the struggles that they're now dealing with, especially because you were sent to this person's life to help them heal. And they had a choice on a soul level. This person's going to help you heal either way. Are they going to be able to be in your life and love you into healing, or are you going to mess up and not appreciate them, and then once they're gone, that triggers your tower moment healing, as in when you're gone, and it has triggered that tower moment healing for this person because they subconsciously chose that rather than appreciating you and having you be that healer role by their side. Love in reverse. Somebody tried to set a trap for you, but every time they tried and failed at a part of the breadcrumbs that were leading you into the ultimate trap, it set another trap for them, and now that's in motion because you're totally out of the trap. So because they tried to blank you, they are receiving blank. Because they tried to trap, yes, like I said. Because they tried to trap you, they're receiving some real tower moment in their lives. What's it have to do with? Something that you did not know about them. A hidden key. This is spicy. Oh shit. This person was doing some kind of magic using something of yours. It could be sex magic. It could be taking hair. This person was abusing their power. And what is the karma that's smacking back to them from all of this black magic? This person has a demon attached to them now. An angry demon. That's not good. Somebody wants to send you a really long message with an explanation about something, but their ego will not allow them to. They see you as the Queen of Cups, so it's like, those are my cards dropping on the floor. Their house of cards would fall because they know that you are very emotionally intelligent and you'd be able to see through their facade. This is what they would say to you, though, if they got out of their own way to send this. Oh, well, that's not my phone almost dying. That's why they don't want to send it. They're running from it because they know if they were to say anything to you, it would be to owe you an apology. because they tried to bring you down and you walked away because you were not willing to stay down for this person. Friends or family of an ex-friend, ex-lover, whatever, of yours are talking about how that person's doing lately since you are no longer in their life. What are they saying? Wow, it seemed like it was a lot more peaceful when you were in their life. This person is stuck. New world order in reverse. They're stuck right where you left them and they can't get their shit together. Okay. And everyone around them sees their true colors now. And it's not good. Caregiver in reverse. They're recognizing that this person only ever cared about themselves until you were gone. Oh. They'd give anything to get you back. But they brought on the man-made disaster themselves, and now there's no reconnecting like old times. You know what I realized recently? The reason that it's so important to speak on things to heal is because when you say something out loud, you know how you really feel about it. When you say it either publicly or in whatever capacity you release things in, it's when you get to that stage where you can confidently say it 10 toes down with your full chest that you know for sure that you've healed. Because you can say things and then after the moment's done, be questioning yourself, or you can go in and then be so sure of how you feel. And that's the moment that you transmute. It's not necessarily that you need to get rid of their energy. Well, in some senses it is, but this piece of it is about you showing yourself that you have healed from what they tried to do to you, which is disconnect you from yourself. They failed at that. And when you say it out loud and know that you deserve to hold the space to tell your story, to transmute your pain, you're taking back your power, because you're saying, you wanted to shrink me and I refuse to shrink for you. You have someone from your past that you had to cut off, and you either knew this person's friends or family or something like that, but let's imagine we're in the room with whoever it is that you know that's connected to this person, and they're having a conversation about how they are looking at what the person who is connected to you is saying. So the ex whoever, what their family is saying about how that person is talking about you, or about how that person has been lately after the end of you and their relationship. What the family is saying. I can't. Trying to separate me from my abilities. Through what method? My abilities through God, which you can't separate. What do you need to know for this upcoming weekend? So you're meant to focus on grounding yourself in some way, but like in a different way than you usually do that. So like if you usually try and get a bunch of things done, make sure you're giving yourself a little bit of time to rest extra than what you normally do. It's like adding in a little bit of the opposite. And if you usually spend the whole time resting, try and do something active for yourself. It's like the grounding that you need right now, self-love to get what you want here. Oh, 9 of Pentacles fell into my lap. So it's like, if you do this and show yourself that self-love in a little bit of a different way than you normally do, like shake things up a little bit, it's going to help you reach and get something that you wanted here. Something that you thought it was like too late for, or something that you thought was past. Taking a leap of faith on yourself after some kind of betrayal. So it's like giving yourself, showing yourself that you know you deserve the effort that you put into the relationship with yourself. Because in the past, others took you out of doing that. And now that your defenses are kind of back down because this betrayal has passed, not your defenses with others, but your defenses with yourself. You're not questioning yourself quite as much as you were around the time of that last betrayal. This is like switching it up and showing up for yourself in a different way. Almost like taking yourself on a blind date, but like it doesn't have to be a blind date. Just doing something different and outside of what you typically do for yourself over the weekend. It's gonna go a long way to help further restore the balance that you already started working on restoring, because you're healing from something still and you're kind of replanting yourself, giving yourself new roots again. The Magician. Whatever this is, it's like a switch in your mind that is like, the question to turn on this switch is, are you willing to put in extra effort for yourself to show yourself that you're worthy of that effort? And if you do, magic will kind of occur from it. You're alchemizing whatever that wound is that had you still a little bit doubting your worth, or a little bit doubting because others didn't always put in the effort that you deserved into you. This is like, show up for yourself in that way, and you get a 3D reward from doing that. We're going to look at the current battle that's happening in your mind. So pick a number, 1, 2, or 3. Number 1. Holding back what you want to say and doubting yourself about holding back what you want to say. So it's almost like you know you want to say something and you're convincing yourself to back down, even though you know that something has to be transmuted. So this is like, if you can't say it to the person, find another way to transmute that, and that will ease this battle. 2. So it's like, do I stay or do I go type energy? Like, do I keep the light on or do I turn the light off here? It feels like you are recognizing that you're trying to escape or intellectualize your feelings instead of feel them, and you're battling with that. So give yourself space to feel those feelings, and that will calm down that mental battle. 3. You feel like you made a wrong choice because you don't have all the information to prove or back up the choice that you made, but this was a choice that came from your intuition, so you don't necessarily need proof. This is like, trust yourself that you made the right choice here, even if you don't have physical proof, like, aha, okay, this backs up my choice. You don't need it in this scenario. Have a good day. Have a channeled theory on beauty standards. So everyone's culture points them towards different beauty standards, but it feels like, especially in America, they try to make us believe there is only one beauty standard. What if our eyes that we see with, that perceive beauty physically, the tools we use to do that, our eyes, what if all of our eyes are programmed to see a different beauty as that standard for our particular type, right? And that's like God's way of proving he knew before your soul came here, because eyes are the windows to the soul. That's God's way of saying, I knew what you would find most attractive or most beautiful or most desirable, because the eyes are the windows to the soul. So I knew sending you there what type of environment or mental programming that you would grow up in and what you would find the most beautiful. And society is playing this trick on us, trying to see how susceptible we are to changing what we're programmed to believe is beautiful, because everyone's beautiful in their own way. But we try so much to look a certain way, like this person or like that person. What if that's the trick that they're playing on us to see, will you veer away from what you're programmed to believe is beautiful on a soul level? Because, I don't know. See what I mean? Thoughts? Anyway. Looking into some kind of righteous anger. So you know that you have a reason and a right to be angry. It's not that you're angry for no reason. It's not that you feel like you're overreacting even. It's righteous anger, and you don't know why you can't let your guards down here. This is a tower for you, or it's making you feel like a tower is about to come. It's making you maybe feel a little emotionally imbalanced, almost like you're handling everything fine. You're handling everything fine, but at any moment you're like, if something pushes me the wrong way, I'm gonna snap type thing. So it's not that the tower is unfolding, but it's you're weary of a tower moment because of this righteous anger. Because of this righteous anger. Look, she's over here having fun, having a good time, going on an exploration, and he's sneaky up right behind her, going to attack. So you were in that kind of situation. It was one-sided, and it came out of nowhere. It was very quick, and it was because the other person was resisting a death and a rebirth. Don't compete where you don't compare type thing. That's essentially what you're righteously angry about. Someone tried to, instead of look at themselves and improve what is going on in their lives, they tried to take you down. It didn't work. It didn't work, but you're righteously angry about it. You're still moving forward. You completed that cycle of having to deal with whatever this was. You got the victory. You got the stability here, or you're on your way to it. The other person can't really get out of the situation that they're in because they still didn't learn their lesson, and they still are trying to abuse their power in some way. They're stuck in the past. But you cut the cord or put down the heavy burden. You decided to take your own path. Your righteous anger is because you're doubting if you made the right decision cutting the cord, walking away. That's kind of what's holding you back here. You feel like, am I a bad person for no longer exchanging energy with this person that hurt me? But that's what needed to happen. It may be the hard thing in this scenario, but accepting that your righteous anger here, there's no fault in you for it. You're not looking at this too harshly. The righteous anger is still there because that person's energy is still in the same place. They may be sorry that they got caught, but as of right now, they're not sorry that they hurt you. And that is some truth here. They're not sorry that they hurt you, but they're sorry that you learned the truth, and now they see themselves as trapped. So until they realize that what they need to be sorry for is the fact that they tried to get you in that divine wounded energy, from divine to wounded. That's what they wanted. They wanted to trap you, and now they are trapped in a scenario of their own making. The sun in reverse. Until they recognize what the actual problem is here, your righteous anger may feel still present, because part of you still wishes this person would wake up and realize that what they really need to be sorry about isn't the fact that they got caught, but the fact that they hurt someone who was there to help them heal, or someone who was there to love them. This would be an offer of love. So you may still feel a little bit of that righteous anger because that's you still having a good heart, wishing well for this person even after they hurt you. And it's, oh, the Knight came out again. Look, this person doesn't know which path to take, confused, and this, you still are there with the offer of love, but you had to turn your back on their unwillingness to accept what you were trying to offer, which was love. Reading the daily law for today, November 3rd. Increase your reaction time. When some event or interaction requires a response, you must train yourself to step back. This could mean physically removing yourself to a place where you can be alone and not feel any pressure to respond, or it could mean writing that angry email but not sending it. You sleep on it for a day or two. You do not make phone calls or communicate while feeling some sudden emotion, particularly resentment. If you find yourself rushing to commit to people, to hire or be hired by them, step back and give it a day. Cool the emotions down. The longer you can take, the better, because perspective comes with time. Consider this like resistance training. The longer you can resist reacting, the more mental space you have for actual reflection, and the stronger your mind will become. So you have some kind of test coming in the next couple weeks that's going to help you complete a previous cycle. I'm just going to show you the cards for this one. So you're having something coming in that's helping you see from a higher perspective what you're unable to see from that higher perspective right now, because you have to show yourself your strength in this scenario. It's like where you're currently doubting yourself in one area, you're going to get an opportunity to show yourself that you shouldn't be doubting yourself as much as you are. Because previously self-love or lack thereof was blocking you from being able to offer yourself the support you needed, and from some angles you thought you needed support from others to replace that. But you are no longer stuck where you previously were in the past here, and that brings us to the cycle that's being completed. Because you don't have to be in this same mental battle that you were in when you were seeing this from a lower perspective. And because you're recognizing your strength, it's ushering in this new beginning for you, because this cycle is not completed, but this new beginning is what will cause this cycle to finally be completed when it comes to staying in self-love instead of resorting back to old defenses that didn't particularly work in the past. It's about staying balanced here and not letting yourself be held back because of other people's reactions or interactions or whatever it is. It's like holding your ground, and as you hold your ground, you usher in this new beginning. So the test here to earn a higher perspective that allows you to move forward is to not go backwards into internal dialogue or self-love things that were not previously serving you, and to stay 10 toes down on the healing that you earned and fought so hard to achieve.